my God. Hey guys, Driver02 here, and I was working outside, but it is absolutely just pouring out right now. And so no working out there now, but thought it'd be a good opportunity to come in here and make a quick video. We got quite the storm going on. I got a leaky eaves trough over there too. So I'm working on a project. I'm converting the chassis of a lawn tractor to be used for a small off-road Jeep. And in doing so, I want to use some ATV wheels that require different hubs. And so I've made up these. I already had these kicking around. Otherwise, I would have just bought you know, round steel stock instead of using sprockets. But I had these, so I use the right size hubs that'll fit the transaxle, and whether I put them on this way or that way, I'm not sure yet, because I still have to mount brakes somewhere on here too. But these are going to end up being the rear hubs, and the studs will be either way. I got to figure that out. And so these trailer hubs are going to be for the front. And so if you can pick these up on sale, they're a good cheap way of getting, you know, almost like a car hub with, you know, it's got tapered bearings, and it gives you a 4 or 5 lug bolt pattern, whatever you need. These are 4 that I had to re-drill slightly bigger, but they worked out just fine. And the way I convert them, well, at least with this set, is I cut them off. They were about, I don't know, 6 inches longer, and I cut them off to where I had an inch to that seal. Yeah, an inch to the seal. And then there's another 1/2 inch, this diameter, still inside before it tapers down to fit the bearings and such. And so then I faced off. Obviously you need a lathe to do this, and you got to take the spindle out and clean it off. Chuck it up in your lathe. And I faced it off, center drilled it out, bored it out to 3/4. So now this will slide right onto the factory spindle of the lawn tractor. Now, this isn't the one I'm working on, but I'm going to use this as an example. But there's the shaft coming out, and say you take that off. What you can then do is cut it back to, almost where it bends down. So I'll have to get out and do some more critical measurements. But then that shaft will slide on 1 inch overlap, and then you can weld it up, you know, right around where they meet. And it should be good and strong if you do a good weld. And then that will place your bearings not quite center of your original center line, but just out a little more, maybe about an inch out more sticking out. And it's still really close with the bigger ATV tires, but I think it's going to work out just fine for what I'm doing on my project that I have outside. And so you'll have your proper, you'll have a hub flange with studs. You can bolt either, you know, an ATV rim or a car rim or whatever you want up. And you're going to end up with a spindle with bearings, so you're never going to have to worry about, like with these little tractors, typically it's just a bushing in there. It's not even a bearing. And that wouldn't be very good if you're adding bigger tires to a little machine, like whether it's something like this or something bigger. But a lot of guys put ATV tires on their lawn tractors and they just want to make off-road tractors or off-road vehicles or whatever. That's kind of what I'm doing, but I'm putting another, not this one here, but another Power Wheels Jeep body on the chassis of the tractor, and I've lengthened it, and I've tacked it together temporarily. And I wish I could go out and show you, but so I've lengthened it, and I'm modifying the hubs now so that I can put the tires on, and then I'm going to sit the body on and make sure my lengthening is appropriate, and I'm not going to have any clearance issues. If I need to make it a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, I can go from there. And then I'm going to weld the whole thing up, brace it nicely, and then from there I will have to figure out the brakes on the back. I got to mount the engine with a nice, I think I'll put like a centrifugal clutch on the bottom, go into the transaxle with like a 1-to-1, and then with the bigger tires, it's not going to be super fast, but it'll be faster than a lawn tractor anyway. It'll get up and go, but first gear will still be pretty reasonable just to put it around the yard or whatever. Yeah, and I'm just kind of building it for fun, no real specific purpose or goal in mind. I may just sell it, or I may just keep it around, and if someone wants to ride it, they can ride it one day. But it's just one of those therapeutic fabrication projects that, you know, I love to do. So I just thought I'd share my method of fitting hubs with bearings to the front of a lawn tractor. I'm really not sure if this is common amongst guys that modify lawn tractors and stuff and work on go-karts and things, but I did this before with my Craftsman front-end loader because it needed very heavy-duty bearings in the front for the weight that it's picking up, and it worked great on that. I did it slightly different, that they had, they were greasable trailer hubs that had a pilot, about a 3/4 pilot all the way through, and so I just used that as my pilot drill basically, and I drilled them 3/4 inch all the way through, and then the whole spindle would slide over the original spindle of the tractor, and then I didn't have to cut nothing. I just did a couple tack welds, and then I could even still put the E-clip thing on the end, and it looked somewhat sort of factory. And the difference is here, I can't do that with these because the shaft inside where the bearings are is a lot smaller. This one is about 1 inch OD all the way along, whereas it's actually smaller than that, and that's probably 1 1.25 inches, something like that. Whereas the other one was much larger, like even the nut was about the size of this whole hub. So drilling a like the 3/4 inch shaft could pass straight through over the nut and everything. So it worked out a little differently on that machine. But I actually like this. This is probably going to work out just fine. Do a good weld on the back, and I don't think it's going to come off. And yeah, I modified it. I even went ahead and tacked these studs to the back. I mean, it's just cast iron, so those welds will probably crack, but I don't know. It is what it is. We'll see. I think it's going to be just fine for what it is. But yeah, that's been one of my summer projects I've been tinkering with, and in between other stuff and in between the rain. Seems to rain an awful lot these days, but this was a pretty good storm. I kind of wish this was at night and I could have just, you know, sat out and enjoyed the sound of the rain or something, but it's dark right now, but it's only like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so yeah, kind of kills your evening. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share that. Hope that might be a helpful tip for someone that likes to fabricate and build odd vehicles and things. Might need to get an archaeologist over here to do a exploratory dig and see what's buried under all this ancient rubble. And that is one of the rear wheels that will be going on the bigger Jeep I'm working on. Yeah, so there we go. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, until next time, well, I will see you then. Just just a little mock-up.